Okay. Hello. Could you please introduce yourself?
Absolutely. Hello, everybody. My name is Yon Marin. I am from Romania. I am currently 16 years old, so I am pretty new at the hobby. I am also known as the Extreme Philatelist. I have started my own website called Extreme Philately, where I explain what Extreme Philately is and I show a few examples of it. I am also the founder of the Dacia Stamps online stamp shop. And I am very happy to be here on the channel. Thank you very much for having me.
You're welcome. Um, so could you explain a little bit about extreme philately? Because I remember when I was first starting out, I didn't know exactly what extreme philately is. And tell us, like, because you're an extreme philatelist, tell us a little bit about it.
Absolutely. So, extreme philately is basically when you take a stamp from your collection, you observe its imagery. You see, for example, it's got a it's got a certain car on it, a certain bird on it. So you observe the imagery, and then you go outside, outdoors or indoors, depending on the imagery, of course, and you try to find the exact elements that can be found in the stamp's image. And then you try to take a photo of both of them side by side. You can find a lot of these examples both on my website and on my social media pages, especially on Twitter. There is also Graham Beck that does a lot of extreme philately photos, as well as Stampcat, Richard Philatelist. And recently at Stampex, there was also a small exhibit with various extreme philately photos where I was able to participate. So basically, yes, that's extreme philately.
Thanks. Um, Pretty good example. The next question we have is, have you worked in a post office, or do you have any experience in like the stamp industry or market?
Um, Work, I wouldn't really say so. I wasn't ever hired in any philatelic or postal related um job. However, I would very much like to be. I started the Dacia Stamps online shop for at first it was a bit of fun, but over time it became more serious, and I am now starting to participate at local stamp markets and shows. I am evolving the contents of the stamp packets. I am also adding new products. So experience, perhaps a little, but no, I was never hired in the field.
Okay. So could you explain a little bit about your your stamp store and when you started it and everything?
Absolutely. So officially, I started it in February 2020 one, and so it's been a bit of a while. I've started with several stamp packets, grab bags, as you might call them. A small system of 6 stamp grab bags, each one with different names, contents, descriptions, and so on. I tried selling them a little bit, and over time, I started taking it more seriously, as I previously explained. Since then, I've started adding more Romanian stamps products, such as stamp series, stamp collections, mini sheets, etc. Obviously, I want to grow the stamp shop as much as possible. My dream is that I will one day be able to open my own physical stamp shop here in Bucharest, Romania.
Mhm.
Um, I mainly started it because I wanted to be able to make a bit of money out of my hobby and mainly to support my collection. But as I've already said twice already, it has become a lot more than that, and I am very passionate about my shop. I am very passionate about what I do, and I am very dedicated um, to the company.
Cool. Yeah. Um, I do know. I noticed your little stamp packets and how it had all sorts of things. Then I noticed your Romanian stamp pack and everything. I forget when I last checked in, so I don't know if you've done any updates recently or anything. Have you?
I've done a few updates to the website's design. It's a bit more user-free now, as I might say. The stamp packets have currently remained the same. However, now I am trying to add to upgrade the stamp packets with a new look, trying to add description stickers on the front of the envelope,
Huh.
trying to increase the contents of the packets, of course, trying to slightly reduce the prices if possible. And furthermore, I am currently trying to sell them to different tea shops and coffee shops around the city, so that they may sell it further on.
Oh yeah.
So those were basically my updates. Obviously, I am working very hard every month while I'm trying to evolve my company as much as possible on a monthly basis. And this, of course, includes, social media upgrades, um, design upgrades, more products, more better organized, better prices, promoting my business a bit more, selling to tea shops and coffee shops. So yes, I'm very busy with my company.
Cool. The, so I recently had a conversation with some people, or I was in the conversation. I was in some email thread, um, and they're talking about sellers and fraud with sellers like on eBay or wherever there might be fraud in the stamp store. And it was interesting, and they were both arguing. They each had their own sides. One of the sides was like, well, I think we should like write a review for the seller saying, hey, this seller had was selling a fake stamp, like selling it and they didn't mean to. And then the other side said, I don't think we should do that, or it would wreck their reputation, you know. um which side would you agree with, and what would your take be on this?
That's a very, very good question. As a both buyer and seller in the stamp market, I personally think that if a dealer doesn't take his business seriously, doesn't take his customers seriously, doesn't want to do returns, refunds, etc., I don't think that he really deserves a reputation. So, yes, it would wreck his reputation, but at the end of the day, that's his fault. That is entirely his fault. So, a word of advice for anyone that wants to start selling stamps on eBay or online shops, regardless of the location, take your customers very seriously. If they have a complaint, if they have a problem, trust me, it's a lot better to maybe lose a couple of dollars, maybe lose a couple of stamps on the way, because your reputation is a lot more important than just a few dollars or a few stamps. So if you really have an issue, maybe you did a mistake. Everybody does mistakes. I sometimes make mistakes with my orders. Sometimes I ship them slightly lately, like a day lately. But the reputation is clearly a lot more important than a few stamps or a few dollars. So I would have to take the second side.
Yeah.
Um, yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Cool. So, you know, Iceland, they're making like digital stamps now and everything. What do you see as the future for digital stamps? How quickly are we going to go digital stamps? And I forget, did Iceland go fully digital yet, or are there still some actual stamps?
Oh yes, yes, yes. Digital stamps. That's quite an interesting topic.
Uh huh.
Uh, I think that digital stamps do have a great potential. I think that there was a lot of interest for crypto stamps, for NFTs, and digital stamps in general. However, I don't think that physical stamps are going anywhere in the close future. Maybe if we're talking here about maybe another 30 years, 50 years, then maybe digital stamps will have um, replaced physical stamps. There will always be collectors that collect physical stamps. That is for certain.
Hmm.
I think that the NFT market as a whole, but especially when it comes to stamps, it is slightly exaggerated. I don't think that it's that intriguing for me personally. So no, I don't buy or sell crypto stamps. However, I really see I can understand why a lot of people get hyped about this,
Yeah.
but I don't think that we should exaggerate it.
Yeah. And did Iceland go fully digital again, or what? There's some country that started doing digital stamps, and did they go fully digital?
Maybe in the slightly more distant future. I don't think that
Oh, okay.
that I don't think that that it will completely replace physical stamps in the next, say, 5 years. I don't think
Yeah.
that's likely.
Okay.
But if we're talking about the very distant future, then yes, most likely. Especially in more Western countries such as perhaps Germany, Austria, perhaps even England, they've started the barcoded stamps. So so I don't think that it would be a very big jump for Western countries to jump from physical stamps to digital stamps. But when it comes to Eastern countries or third world countries or African countries, etc., no, I think that it's going to take a lot more time.
Yeah. Same.
And I don't think that it's necessarily related to developed countries or underdeveloped countries. I think that is rather a lot more about what the people there are used to. So even if a country is very developed, that doesn't automatically mean that they will jump to digital stamps.
Okay. So I've noticed like there's a peak in the online philatelic community and everything. What would you and well the online philatelic community, it's kind of like booming right now. There's a lot of people online and everything. What would you say? What is your take on this? Do you like the online philatelic community? How does it help collectors? And yeah.
A lot of times when I talk to slightly older people in philately
Mhm.
about the stamp market and stamp collecting as a whole, they start talking about the 1960s, 1970s when there were nice shops on every street, and I gotta say, I would love to see those days. And I think that that those people are right in missing the good old days, as they like to call them. However, for a hobby, for a market to not only survive but thrive, uh, we need we desperately need evolution. When the internet struck, I think that it greatly damaged philately. And to see now that philately is finally not overcoming, not surviving, but adapting to the internet, to the online world, I think that that's a very good thing. I think that we can call that evolution, and I think that it's helping a lot of new people come to the hobby. The pandemic also helped a lot of people become new philatelists when they were stuck in quarantine. So my take on this is that although I can see why a lot of people don't necessarily like the online market, it's crucial to the survival and development of philately as a whole. So yes, I'm really glad the online market um,
Hmm.
and that online philately exists, because without it I couldn't have an online shop.
Yep.
Without it, I couldn't watch Graham Beck on YouTube, and he was a great inspiration when I was in my first years as a philatelist. I couldn't read articles, I couldn't buy stamps online, I couldn't even have my own website and blog about extreme philately. So yes, obviously, I believe that the online market, online philately is very very important and good, and so if I may say so, healthy for philately and for philatelists.
Okay. Cool. So my next question is, what is or yeah. So what? how's your blog and website about extreme philately doing? How'd you start it up? How popular was it? And yeah, what have you noticed with it?
Um, when I started it, I simply wanted. I saw all of these creators and bloggers in stamp collecting, and I said, I really want to be like them. I really want to do something similar. I don't want to just stay at home and collect stamps and be so-called isolated from the rest of philately. Because when I think about the definition of a successful philatelist, a lot of people think that success in philately is defined by the value or the age of your collection, the size of your collection. I uh, I would contradict because I think a successful philatelist is defined by his contribution to the hobby. So you can be very, very poor philatelist. You can have a very small collection, but if you've contributed fairly to the hobby, to its progress, if you've introduced the hobby to new people, then I believe that that is a lot more successful philatelist than one that has a huge collection, a very valuable collection, but never actually took the time to help stamp collecting in general. So when I started the blog, the website, that's what I had in my mind. I said I might not be able to have a very large collection, but I definitely want to help new people become philatelists. And not shortly after I found out about extreme philately, and I said, all right, let's see. What sort of stamp blog isn't there? There's obviously a lot of blogs about general philately, but there's none about extreme philately. So I said, okay, I'm going to be the first one to make it. And that's what I did. How popular is it? I'm going to admit, not very popular. And most of the people coming to my website are people from that see my posts on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, etc. But yes, the community is growing. I have several subscribers to my newsletter, um, and uh, and it's been very fun so far. I've been able to contribute to the Stampex exposition for Extreme Philately, and I've been able to give two stamp chats on the APS YouTube channel, one about coat of arms and one about extreme philately. So yes, it's been very fun. It's been very helpful. I think that not only for myself but also for others. I certainly hope so.
Hmm.
And yes, that's why I started it.
Cool. Um, so I noticed when you're talking about it, you said you don't need a big collection, which I totally agree with, to be like an experienced stamp collector and everything. And that's interesting because I was talking to Ted, Talk Stamps, and he was telling me he would say he only has like 3,000 stamps. And he says he's not like a collector who collects everything. He has very limited things he collects. Um,
Yeah.
and then I remember I asked the question, "How big is your stamp collection?" in the community page of the channel, um, and someone said 5,000. So not too so pretty small collection. So that shows that Ted doesn't have a large collection because he only has 3,000 stamps. Yet he's a really experienced. You can tell by his channel and
Not only is he very experienced, but I would consider him a successful philatelist because he's
uh huh.
contributed a lot to the hobby as a whole. So yes, size definitely isn't really what matters. You could argue that the value of the collection or the beauty of the collection, the consistency of the collection, that could also bring so-called success to a philatelist. But again, I think that his contribution is
Hmm.
what should be taken into consideration a lot more than what he was able to afford or what can be found in his stock books.
Yes. Um. So investing in stamps, what do you see, like, is it worth it to invest in expensive stamps and sell them later? um do you think it's worth it to invest in like expensive stamps and then sell them later? once the
I
price
think
goes up?
that investing in stamps certainly does have its potential. I don't think that it's necessarily the ideal investment because there is obviously a lot of other things that you can invest, such as real estate, for example. I think that you would need a bit of experience and education in philately to be able to properly invest. The way I see investments in philately is less about buying them and selling them for a much larger price, but simply the fact that you buy a lot of stamps. If they are able to maintain their value, if the stamps maintain their value, um, then it's less about an investment and more something like a deposit, which is also very good. It's basically saving money for the future. So if you want to buy stamps and sell them later, I don't think that it's a bad idea. But I don't recommend people collecting stamps or buying stamps deliberately for making a lot of money in the future because most chances are that they're going to be slightly disappointed. That's what happened in the 70s. In the 70s, a lot of people buy stamps for as an investment, and then after the bubble, as it's called in economics, the bubble bursted, and a lot of people not necessarily lost money, but they certainly didn't get a very large return on their investment. So the only way I can really see a philatelic investment really working is if you open your own stamp dealership. For example, myself, I bought a lot of stamps, right? And now I'm selling them on my online shop. Yes, I am making a profit. I am making a profit because I am selling directly to consumers. But a lot of people, they think, okay, I'm going to buy valuable stamps. And after, say, 20, 30 years, I'm going to go to this stamp dealer or this auction house and I'm going to sell them. That that oftentimes doesn't really work because dealers are obviously very experienced. They already have access to a lot of stamps at lower prices. So the only way that I can really see a stamp investment working is if you sell directly to consumers for a slightly larger price than you bought them for. I could be wrong, of course. I do not have the necessary experience when it comes to philatelic investing, but that's the way I see it.
Okay. You mentioned I came up with this question while you're talking. So you were telling me about how you bought the stamps and then are selling them. Where'd you buy the stamps? Where'd you find a good profit for the stamps? And how did you buy the stamps? Like, did you buy like big, like 500 stamps, or how did you buy the stamps when you're trying to buy them and then sell them at a smaller scale for a certain amount of price, like for your website?
Um, it really depends on what stamps. For example, stamps for my stamp grab bags. Obviously, I buy in large quantities, several thousands at a time. And then I divide them by categories, by themes, by countries, and so on, by series. When I buy Romanian series, full series, I tend to buy several hundreds of series at a time. So yes, quantity is one of the factors when it comes to lower prices. Where do I get them from? I mainly get them from older collectors that don't really that don't really have a lot of options for selling all of their collection at once. So they're selling it bit by bit, and I oftentimes just happen to stumble upon some of them, and I say, okay, you have this. How much is it going to cost? I buy it, I divide it, and then I post it on my website, my online shop, and I sell it. I've currently only added several stamp series from Romania, more as an experiment, if I may say so, mainly stamps in circulation, the 90s, and now I'm working on the 80s. Obviously, I want to add all the stamps from Romania ever printed, but it's going to take a while.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, that's where I take my stamps from.
Cool. Um, I had some other questions, but I forgot. Okay, so I'll move on to the next question then. So tell me about like Romanian stamps. How big is your Romanian collection? Things, and are you happy with what Romania is doing with their stamps? If how many are they printing a year? Do you like their new designs? Things like that.
So let's take them one at a time. My personal collection, when it comes to Romania, isn't very big because most of the Romanian stamps that I buy, I then put back into the company.
Okay.
So until I grow the company sufficiently, I don't, I can't really afford to keep my own Romanian stamps. I still collect coat of arms, heraldry. I still partake in extreme philately. I have several other smaller thematics, but when it comes to Romanian stamps, I mostly just sell them back because the financial situation of the company kind of forces me to. Um, when it comes to Romanian stamps as in general, I think that during the communist era, from the late 1950s all the way to the late 1890s, have been pretty good stamps actually. They've been really nice designs. They haven't been printed in much to large numbers. But after the revolution, things started taking a bit of a decline when the when a new when the postal service was reorganized and the stamp factory was reorganized and everything basically did a reboot. um I wouldn't necessarily say that they improved a lot. From a designs point of view, I think that the designs of Romanian stamps today are pretty nice. The stamps in circulation really have nice images. Um, but I think that they are printed in slightly too large numbers. I think that they are slightly overpriced, and that is why I with my company am trying to slightly move away from the stamps in circulation and focus more on the older Romanian stamps and stamps from the communist era. So that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I noticed I had this Romanian stamp that you sent the stock book on the package.
Yeah.
I noticed it was King Michael. My mom and I really liked that stamp. It showed like
Yes.
a portrait of him, and the colors used were pretty cool. Yeah, that stamp was pretty cool. It was for his death, I think, correct, or that stamp.
Yes. There are several series in circulation with the portraits of members of the royal family.
Okay.
Yes.
So I remember my question. If you're fine with sharing this, what is your monthly income for your store? Or like, do you make a good amount? Or
My monthly income of on the store is actually kind of low at the moment. It's only about say $200-300 a month. Goes into buying stamps. Um, Obviously, on occasions it's a bit more, but on a regular basis, yes, it's about $200-300 a month. Um, Obviously, when I go to stamp markets, I have to refill a bit more. I also have to pay rent there. But yes, when it comes to buying stamps, it's not a lot because adding the stamps to the website is also a very large effort, and it takes a lot of time. So I don't really see the use in buying too many stamps at one time at a time if it's going to take you a lot of time to add them to the website.
yep. So I remember you. you used to call yourself the medieval philatelist, and you still are kind of call yourself that. Like it's like
Yeah.
your other name on Twitter. Can you explain a little bit about like medieval philately and how long you've been into that hobby
Yeah,
so far?
so when I started the blog, it was initially about medieval philately, but that quickly fell apart, so I moved on to extreme philately. I still collect stamps with emblems and heraldry, but with coat of arms. But no, I saw that there wasn't a very large interest on the blog for that subject, and I thought that extreme philately would be a lot more helpful and relevant. So yes, technically I am still the medieval philatelist if you want to call me that, but no, the blog no longer talks about that.
Okay. How long have you been collecting for?
About 4 years now.
Okay, cool. Um, how would you say your collection's growing? How much have you learned? Um, yeah.
Uh, Significantly. The size of my collection obviously grew a lot. I started up with just about 300 stamps, Romanian stamps, and it quickly grew very very vastly. As for my experience, which I deem a lot more important than the size of my collection, as I've already said, my experience has already grown a lot more in these 4 years. I believe that I've learned a lot for this short period of time and taking into consideration my circumstances. Um, I can't wait to learn more. I'm constantly reading about philately. I'm constantly buying books, reference books, specialized books. So yes, my experience has grown vastly, and I really hope to grow it even more.
Cool. Um, I think that wraps it up for the interview. Thanks for joining
Okay,
me. Uh huh.
okay, great.
Yep.
Thank you very much for having me on the channel, and I hope this interview has been helpful to everyone watching. Can't wait to see you again. And
Mhm.
if anybody has some questions, they can go to either of my websites and ask me anything that they like.
Yep.
Have a good day.
Thanks. I'll make sure to put all the links in the description. So,
Thank you.
if you're watching,
Thank you.
make sure to go and check them out and check out his store and his blog and everything. Thanks for or thanks for joining me.
Absolutely. Anytime.
Okay. See you around.
Goodbye.
Bye.